Come and join the largest and fastest growing social media platform for small boat building and fishing. Come and show your pictures off, show your boats and your fish. Come give advice, come get advice.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the JonYak. Last time we were painting, and the time before that we were still painting. And guess what? It's a big miserable pain, but we have one last part to paint. And that is the very top set of these rails, and the sidewalls and the inner deals. It would have been way easier to just paint the entire hull beforehand before I framed everything in, but we're way past that now. So I did it in spurts. Painted the majority of the boat, then flipped it over, and I gator glided the bottom. And now I have to paint the top gunnels and sidewalls, and then we will be done with the painting. We can move on to bigger things, like painting these things and making sure they stick onto our harness application that we're gonna do to the very back, which is maybe my favorite part of doing this one during the first run, which we're gonna make it way better this time, just because we're way better in skill, way more advanced, way more resources, and of course, this channel has you. So we can't paint in the heat, and we know that. So let's get us to a shaded spot. Oh, it's gonna slide off. Man, this stuff is ridiculous. Don't slide off the trailer. You got one job, just stay put. No. Quick tip, just paint the entire boat. It's way better to just do the whole thing. I got a little excited and had this idea in my head to frame it. I didn't want it to go away, so I framed it, and now, because of that, I had to paint this entire thing in spurts. Huge pain in the face. Right now what we're doing is, we're taking some of it to bare metal, but I'm just not gonna take the whole thing down to bare metal. That's gonna be kind of a risk. We already have a lot of the boat painted, 90% of the boat painted. So we're gonna just scuff this all up and hope that that works. Sometimes if you just give the paint a good enough scuffing and you have a little bit there, you can reprimer it and repaint it, and then everything will be okay. If it's not okay, we will know fairly soon after we're into this project. But I have a feeling this will work because the paint on this boat is really good. And if we can make it a favorable base for the paint to adhere to, then we'll be good, we'll be fine. In fact, that's something we probably would have done before, but I went a little far early on. All right, I got painter's plastic. I hit it initially with a cleaning vinegar, then I hit it over here with naphtha from Camp Fuel. And we're just gonna go ahead and self-etching primer it. Did it pretty basic on the top. I'm not gonna go through what I went through to paint the rest of the boat. It's just impossible. I already have it framed in here, and I should have thought ahead to paint the entire boat inside and out before I framed it, but you kinda just gotta go with it. We are using self-etching primer. It adheres to bare aluminum very, very well. I don't know how well it adheres to the stock primer on the tracker boat, but we're committed and we're going for it. If there's any sort of hindsight that I can give to you, paint your entire boat. Don't do it like this in spurts. It's a huge pain, a big waste of time, and you'll have to compensate for stuff like this. All right, so it's been dry for a few hours. You gotta make sure the stuff completely dries. Then you gotta scuff it again because it kind of seals. It's actually pretty good, the self-etching primer. Like if you want just a self-etching primer and it seals by itself, that's all you gotta do, really. If you didn't want to paint it any other color and you just like this dark olive drab color, but because we want it to be completely black, we're gonna go and scuff it up. Then we're gonna clean it again with Camp Fuel, and then it'll be ready to spray.
Last bird down.
Done. Yes. Right, so that's kind of it. I can tell you, though the series we went through it was a little painful, the boat is still painted in the inside and out. The benefits, you know, now in hindsight to doing it that way is protection inside the boat is really very, very important. We found that after gutting, you know, pounds after pounds of saturated pour foam and even some non-saturated pour foam, we found that pour foam on bare aluminum over this series of decades or however long it's been in there starts to corrode aluminum. Some people claim that it corrodes it within a few years depending on how swamped, but they generally probably don't have very good drainage systems. I dedicated a lot of time to speak to you guys about how important drainage systems are into the subfloor channels, no matter how deep or skinny your boat is. If you didn't do that, or you're just not willing to do that, one would think that a pretty good aluminum barrier coat of some sort of primer, preferably epoxy primer, and a good paint on top of that will not only help the pour foam bond to the surface you're pouring it in, it should create a pretty good barrier between the aluminum and it over time. Tracker painted every last bit of the inside of that boat except for the transom, which when we ripped that treated plywood off, if you watched our transom video in this playlist for the JonYak, that was the only part of the boat that was corroded at all. And yeah, there was some surprisingly bad pitting for how good a condition the boat was. Not surprising. You can even check out some of this. Look at this. That is gross oxidation and pitting right on the treated plywood. And it was also pretty bad in the foam pockets. And this boat particularly had quite a bit of foam in it. We will also be getting to this a little later, but if you want to see this boat now, patrons, it's available to you, the entire playlist, and we will be wrapping this boat up along with this boat together because I have this sheer desire to get both of these done before the hot Havasu sun comes and fries me forever. It's coming for me. It's coming for us all. Also, quick update, we got another Tin Can Crew meetup coming up here at the end of April. We got a boat show coming up. This is my new studio. I'll talk to you guys about that a little later, so wait for this video. And that's all I got. Sorry I couldn't do more, but there will be very cool things coming now that all the paint's done. Wait for it, guys. I'll see you later.